Calamity and Fargo Souls are the two biggest mods in Terraria, adding a ton of new bosses and accessories. And the Fargo Souls DLC is a compatibility mod that makes these mods work together, as well as reworking a lot of bosses to add Calamity and Fargo's attacks into one. To 100% this challenge, I'm going to be fighting all 62 bosses in order using the boss checklist. I have to fill all 764 entries in the bestiary, and I have to craft the Soul of Eternity, which requires pretty much every accessory in the game. And to spice things up, we're going to be doing this on hardcore, which I haven't seen anybody do yet, so this video is very unique and one of a kind. I did do this playthrough a few months ago, so it is before the Brainstorm update, but it is too good not to show y'all. It is a roller coaster of a run, and I really hope y'all enjoy this. And with that, let's take a journey together. Alright, so first off, we're going to go ahead and set the difficulty to Eternity Death Mode. And literally not even 5 seconds after I open up the world, a pinky already tries to kill me. So this is our first rare mob of the run, and could be a good sign for things to come as far as completing the bestiary. Get back here, bro. Come on, let's go. Me and you. Got him. So the cool thing about Fargos is we have the lumberjack, which means we have an infinite source of wood. And I know my Terraria builders really love when I build the dirt paradises, but we're going to upgrade to wood this run. So for anybody who didn't know, in Fargos, you get a guaranteed pyramid, and it also shows you the boss arena because it'll say the sand is shifting underneath you. That's when you know you need to dig straight down. You'll find the pyramid. If you're lucky, you get a sandstorm in a bottle, but it's good money either way. And let me go ahead and get my first weapon of the run. This is a Cursed Coffin arena, by the way. This is a boss we're going to fight later on. And yep, Enchanted sword, nice. So anybody who's familiar with how I play, I don't play class restricted runs. I really just use whatever I want, whenever I want, and that's how I play the game. I do always come to the snow though to check the abandoned mechanics house, and I also get the materials I need to get my first summon of the run, which is always the Frost Blossom Staff. I usually never play with a lot of quality of life, especially Fargo's Mutant mod, because I feel like it makes the game too easy, especially for hardcore. But since it's a dependency of Fargo's, we get access to elevators, so why not? Alright, so the main focus for early game is going to be getting full HP so we don't die, obviously. Looting up to get some basic accessories like some boots, a double jump, as well as a magic conch. And getting the Onyx Excavator key. This is when it was still good before the Brainstorm update, and it's going to save us a lot of time. Side note, if you're going to go to the Underworld in Fargos, make sure you bring an Obsidian Skin Potion, because when you're in the Underworld, you immediately start to get the On Fire debuff. Y'all want to know what it's like to be in your 30s? Just play Fargos, you're pretty much like a walking debuff. And since I'm here anyway, I go ahead and grab the Blade Crest from the Ashen Chest under the bridge. Since the update it is no longer chest loot, they've changed the projectile and you can only get it from demons, just keep that in mind. Oh yeah, and there's a fair share of hard mode enemies that spawn in pre-hard mode, and they do cool things like shoot lightning at you. And when they die, they drop fishing crates. Don't ask, I don't know. Another really cool feature in Fargos is picking up NPCs with a bug net, and you can move them around where you want or just keep them in your inventory. So this is my current loadout for the first boss in the run. I like to have really good movement. It's not for everybody. This is how I play. More damage would probably be better, but it is what it is. Alright, and here we go. First boss of the run, Trojan Squirrel. 1 out of 62. This boss is literally so easy, you can kill it with 100 HP and grenades, and no accessories. I'm obviously not going to do that because it's hardcore, but I also don't min-max my gear because I find min-maxing kind of boring. They get super overpowered for each boss. By the way, I did put all the VODs in a playlist on my channel. If you want to watch the VODs, you can go check it out. If not, that's cool too, but just want to let y'all know. Alright, back to the run. We're going ahead and getting a little early game boss rush out of the way, because between the bestiary and all the bosses, we have a lot to cover. And for anybody curious, this is not my first time playing Eternity Death Mode. I did this challenge maybe 8 months ago, and I beat it over probably about 60 attempts. And then I came back to do this 100% run maybe 4 months ago. But I got distracted by doing Calamity 1 block and Hardcore Infernum, and this kind of just got put on the back burner until now. And I've also never done an all bosses hardcore run, so we have a lot at stake. Fargos has a lot of good accessories. One of them is a king slime drop called the Slimy Shield. It allows you to fall fast and fall through platforms as if they're hammered. It's also a material used in later crafting that you're going to see a lot in this run. This is one of the rare events that you will ever see me do Torch God, but it's on the boss checklist, so we had to do it. And to be honest, the fire debuff that it inflicts does a lot of damage actually. You can die pretty easy doing this. Nice. So in Fargos, you actually take damage from cactus when you walk through them, and I am not dealing with that during the Desert Scourge fight, so we're just going to flatten this whole thing out and make a nice arena. I like using spiky balls, kind of makes me feel like a 402 Ninja Monkey. They're pretty good at honestly. So the Fargo Souls DLC is still a work in progress. All the bosses have not been reworked from Calamity, but Desert Scourge is one of them. And I have to say a lot of the reworks have some pretty sick animations. So for the most part, I figure we'll just passively complete the bestiary as we go, but you don't want to soft lock yourself out of it because there are some pre-hard mode enemies that you have to beat in pre-hard mode. But I figure when I get Tim's concoction and start to potion farm, I'm going to farm a lot of mobs and we'll just knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Nice. Next on the list is Giant Clam. He doesn't drop anything useful right now, but later on in hard mode, we'll farm him again because he drops some pretty good weapons that I want to get my hands on. Not to mention getting the Sea King NPC, which is another checkbox for the bestiary. We're about to start getting into some bosses that only spawn at night, so I want to get the portable sundial so that I can swap between day and night freely. I can craft 2 sundials with golden crates and then shimmer one for the moon dial so I can get the portable sundial. I don't use quality of life mods for potions, so I have to get my potions manually. So I make a gem robe because wearing a gem robe in the caverns increases the spawn rate of Tim. I want to kill Tim so I can get Tim's concoction. He doesn't drop it the first time, but luckily the Deviant sells the spawners for rare mobs after they've been beaten once. And now I can begin farming for all my 30 stack buffs. This is a complete list of all the mobs that drop potions while having Tim's concoction equipped. So I was being pretty serious when I said that we would knock out 2 birds with 1 stone as far as the bestiary goes. Alright, the next boss on the list is Eye Cthulhu. I don't think I've ever fought this boss on tier in Eternity Death Mode. See, the thing about hardcore runs for me is I always play low percentage runs. I only fight the bosses that I need to progress or to get a particular weapon or armor set or whatever the case may be. So I always do low percentage runs because, well, it's more of a risk that I don't want to take. And the reason that I stayed away from doing all achievements in this run is because modded really doesn't offer any rare ones and the vanilla ones are just super easy to obtain. So that's why I chose the specific challenges for this run that I did. So I do an early blood moon so I can get a few potions as well as some accessories. A few of the potions that I can get from this is a night owl potion, regeneration, and heart reach. And I also want to get a shark tooth necklace and a money trough, as well as getting all the pre-hard mode blood moon bestiary entries. Alright, I would say that things are going pretty good in the run right now. We're on Cursed Coffin and we haven't died yet, so we head over to our pyramid arena. Alright, let's do this. This is actually my first time fighting this boss. I've never fought this boss before. I don't think it's that bad. I know the hand attacks is kind of like the Champion of the Spirit. Oh my god, what was that? He just threw me into the wall. At least it doesn't stun like you like the Champion of the Spirit does, where you have to do like the little toggle to get out of it. But yeah, this fight's like really good. And the animations are really good too. And we got him, nice. I make a little trip down to the Crimson to get a spawner for our next boss. I usually get the materials I need to make all the spawners, but I forgot them. So we're just going to make the spawner for Crabulon and then go do that and come back. Alright, here we go, Crabulon time. Infestation, Crabulon theme, best theme in the game. So the spinning attack is the new attack he does right here. It's cool and all, but I definitely think the Infernum variant of this fight is harder. I would have liked to see them do something a little bit more difficult for this fight, but in my opinion, it's still peak and I enjoy it. But at least I get my first rage upgrade of the run. Okay, here we go, Brain of Cthulhu. One of the most interesting fights in the entire run. And when I say interesting, I mean that because it makes no sense and you're really not going to know what's going on the entire fight in phase 2. For example, not only am I confused right here as a player because my controls are backwards, but my eyes are confused because there's, what, 9 on the screen plus another 4 jumping in and out of the screen at the same time. At least I'm able to get my adrenaline there. And pretty much all you can do right here is just move around and pray that you're not going to get hit and try to avoid the one that you know is real. And that's pretty much the entire fight. But at least I get the Brain of Confusion here, which makes it totally worth it. There he is. So next on the boss checklist, we have the Old One's Army Tier 1, which is going to include the Dark Mage. And now that we're post Evil 1 boss, we get the Tavern Keep to spawn, which tells us what we need. Dude, what? I've had the Diamond Robe on the whole time. I've actually had the Diamond Robe on the entire time. We're like 5.5 hours in. This is how far I've gotten. I'm not worried about the events. Fuck the events. Because those won't even get checked off anyway. This is really just a basis for the set order that I'm doing. All right, so with Tier 1 Owen's Army down, we got a lot of bestiary entries checked off, including the Dark Mage. And as a bonus, we get the War Table, which is pretty cool because I get a second sentry. Before our next boss, I figure it's finally time for an armor upgrade. So I come get some Hellstone so I can make the Molten Armor. These were the glory days of the drill mount. They nerfed it to the ground in the Brainstorm update, so you can't do the cool movement tech anymore, but man, I'll really miss it. After this, we should be ready for Perforators. This will give me a pretty good damage and defense boost, so yeah, I think we're good. Shouldn't be a bad fight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the most peak and terrifying boss so far in the run. The Perforators, with legs, because he's like a spider. For anybody curious why I'm fighting him on the ground is because platforms are disabled for a lot of these bosses. I don't know why. I think that's just a Fargos DLC mechanic. It might be a part of Fargos, I'm not sure. So in phase 1, he shoots these worms at you that are a part of his base form. But after that, he's got a series of brand new attacks that we've never seen before. But in my opinion, this is probably one of the best reworks from the entire DLC. I think they did like a really good job with this boss. The fact that he has legs makes it terrifying and peak at the same time. And in my opinion, the best part about fighting Perforators is that you get aerial light tier gear, which is huge. And most importantly, I can finally get my beloved bundle of balloons. So after I beat Perforators, I go straight to mine some area light. And I just realized I don't know where my meteor is. I need to find meteor for 2 reasons. 1, so I can make suck potions. And 2, I need to kill meteor heads for the bestiary. After taking care of that, I go back to spawn, and first I make the bundle of balloons. And then I had a huge moment of clarity. I do the same thing every run. I go into the crag, I go get the Bladecrest O sword, and I usually go rogue after that. So I decided to completely mix things up and make a mage set, and decided to use some mage weapons that I've never used before. Also, you're going to see me doing different things here on out in the rest of the run. So using non-meta weapons will definitely take longer for the boss fights, but I figure it'll be a good introduction for me and you to different weapons in Calamity. Like right now I'm using the Bloodbath, which is a post-perforator mage weapon that shoots blood rain down from the sky and pierces infinitely. It's a pretty strong weapon, but against a fast-moving target like Queen Bee, definitely not the best, and this fight took longer than I wanted it to. Queen Stinger is a dash accessory that gives you full immunity while dashing and gives you armor pen while having the honey buff. It's a very good accessory. Nice. Okay. So I'll come over to the snow biome to get some ice minnows to make the rest of the warmth potions I need. I need it for Skeletron because at night in certain biomes you get the chill debuff that makes you slower. All those little debuffs add up in Fargos, so getting as much immunity as possible is key. So yeah, next boss on the list is Skeletron. So just FYI, we are not playing class restricted. I did just pick mage to play for a little while, and I'm glad I did, because we're going to get a lot of weapon upgrades after Skeletron. We get all the Abyss chest loot, plus weapons from the dungeon, which is huge, and I can also get a lot of bestiary entries done between the Abyss and the dungeon. You have to be really careful here during the Guardian phase. The skull will one-shot you. Nice. Oh, there he is. Okay, so killing the dungeon slime is huge because until we get the gold slime, this is going to be our best source of money. Okay. That was the main thing we needed. Ow. I got 15 more. So when you pair Platinum Enchant with Tim's Concoction, it makes mobs drop way more potions. And the Dungeon Slime drops luck potions, so we can sell the luck potions to get a lot of money. And before I forget, I make a battle cry. It's pretty much like a Zerg and a Zen potion that I can turn off or on at any time. Alright, so we're on to Deerclops. Definitely one of my least favorite bosses. It's a boss I just don't have a lot of experience with, and I don't fight a whole lot. I didn't get adrenaline once during this entire fight. I kept taking damage pretty much the entire time. But even though this is a 100% run, we would end up fighting Deerclops anyway for the accessories and items that she drops. I think it's time we start blowing shit up. All right, Galactic Reformer. I don't think I'll even come close to the arena. You know what? Fuck it. We'll do it right here. Yeah, we should be fine right here. Watch this. Watch this, chat. Watch what happens. Here. How and why? Just so I have an arena. I don't think that'll take that out. I think it's going to be like, yeah. Yeah, that looks good. I don't think that... It should be outside of the radius. I don't want to break this arena in case I need to fight him again. Beautiful. Beautiful impact, dude. Yeah, that should take care of that down there. Yeah, this is my Eye of Cthulhu arena. About to fight Eye of Cthulhu, chat. Beautiful. So now I got a big ass area that's mob free from everything, where I can be safe, and then I can drop down here and I can farm cavern mobs, and then I have an arena up here. All right, so Slime God did get a slight rework, nothing too crazy. It does remind me of the Infernum version, but with a few newly added mechanics. I feel like B-Gun would have overstayed its welcome by now, but honestly, it's been holding its own so far. I'm kind of impressed. I'll tell you one of my favorite things about Fargos that you'll see later on is it literally encourages hybrid play because of some of the armors they have later on and boss mechanics. It literally forces you to play hybrid, and I love it. I love playing hybrid. I love playing multi-class and just using different weapons all the time. I find it very enjoyable. Come on, let me get another adrenaline. Let me piss on him for a minute. Nice. All right. Mana polarizer. Nah, I'm gonna keep the stinger. I kind of like my setup right now. I'm not gonna fuck with it. But what I will do is we're gonna upgrade our armor. We're gonna make... I don't know why I never said what I was going to make right here, but it's static gel armor. The correct answer is static gel armor. I'm going to go in the Underworld, or the Abyss. I'm going to go open up some shadow chests down there. God damn it. I fucking hate this place so much. This place is so scary, dude. Yeah, being that we got 100% the bestiary, I kind of have to kill every mob, which is terrifying. Thank God. All right, we got the torrential tier. I needed that. All right, so the strategy for Deviant goes like this. Unless you're good enough to no-hitter, which I'm not good enough to, you need Nymph's Perfume, which drops from Nymphs. It gives you immunity to Love Struck. Pretty much with Love Struck, every time you take damage from Deviant, you heal her. So if you're constantly taking damage, this fight will take a very long time. What? I did not realize it was coming that fast. Jesus. Oh, I'm fucking up. I forgot all about this. Dude, it's been so long since I did this fight. Yeah, it had been a while since I played Fargo, so I forgot about a lot of the attacks, and she was honestly just railing me the entire time. But I have to say that Deviant is probably the best fight in all of Fargos, in my opinion. All right. Okay, Sparkling Adoration. I think that gives us immunity to Lovestruck and Hexed. Okay, yeah, we want that. All right, Deviant Energy. We can make a bunch of shit. We can make this, which we can make that right now. And then we can make the boots, Zephyr boots. Hell yeah, Zephyr boots. Hell yeah. So after getting my loadout right and whooping up an arena, we go in for Wall of Flesh. This fight is pretty awesome in my opinion. Probably my favorite Wall of Flesh variant in all of Terraria. Just a lot of really cool mechanics. There is a couple of attacks to really watch out for. One is the Cursed Flames wall that you see right here. It will do a lot of damage to you. And obviously the Eye Laser will really mess you up, as well as the Eye Core attack that you see right here, where he's constantly trying to piss on you. That ain't good. Once you hear that roar, you know you're within 10% of his health, and his attacks start to speed up tremendously until you win. So you really got to be on your shit. Increases spawn rate of rare enemies. Who's the first boss? Queen Slime, Cryogen, and then who? Twins and then Aquatic Scourge? Ooh. So to avoid a lot of early hard mode farming, I need to kill a Hollowed Mimic and an Evil Mimic, because since the Deviant sells the spawners, I can use that to my advantage and farm a lot of Mimics very quickly. All right, we'll do 50, 50, and 50. So the strategy is that you don't actually do any damage to the mimics. You let the lava passively kill them. What am I farming? Crates. Divine crates, Thematic crates, and then corrupt, or whatever the hard mode crate is. Because I can get like all the hard mode ore and bars and crystal and souls and everything from them. And a shit ton of bait too. You pretty much get everything you need from these. And this clip right here is exactly why suck potions are goated. All right, now let's open this shit up. Yeah, we got a bunch of bait. 386 master bait. I think we got enough. And just to reiterate, the reason I do this is to avoid a lot of farming, because we don't use a lot of quality of life. So I have to get everything manually. So when I said in the intro, no progression skips, what I really should have said was no boss skipping, because we do use some of the ore and bars that we got from crates to get ourselves a new armor set as well as a new weapon. Could make golden shower. Yeah, that's actually the play. We also need this. I can discover the whole map now, dude. All right, y'all see my map? Watch this. This item is called the Ancient Masters Map of the Lost King's Great Ancestors. It reveals the whole map and it's pretty goated. Yeah, this weapon doesn't have that much range. Not that good for single target. It was good for this shit. Unfortunately, Queen Slime doesn't really drop anything that I want or need. This is the first boss in a hard mode that's on the boss checklist, so we had to fight her. But I do realize that this weapon has very limited range, so we're going to have to find a new weapon after this. I don't think I've ever fought this boss on Eternity. My first time fighting this boss. That's one thing that I really love about Eternity. The vanilla boss changes are fantastic. Every boss rework is truly goated and it's a masterpiece. So I decided I wanted to get a new mage weapon. I usually always skip the mechs and all the early bosses by doing Plantera, but since we're doing all bosses set order, I needed to find a good weapon. And I feel like a much slept on mage weapon is Poseidon. It provides homing, which I like because I'm bad at the game, and let's just say that it overstays its welcome for a pretty large part of the run. Fuck it, here we go. The next boss on the list is Cryogen, and this is a reworked version of this boss for the DLC. We cannot recall this boss, so we really have to be on our shit here. Can't see shit. Okay, so this was my first time using Poseidon, and honestly, I think it is a very slept on weapon. The damage isn't the highest, but it is all around just a solid mage weapon. This is just another peak rework in my opinion. I mean, the difference between regular Calamity Cryogen and this boss is like night and day. I'm actually glad that I made Deep Diver for this fight. I'm glad that I have a dash. And the Deathbringer Fairy gives it a little extra oomph. It's pretty goated. I like it. Good movement. And he's down. Nice. So I go mine for some cryonic ore for some much needed upgrades. Hornet Shield. Oh yeah. Yeah, it feels a lot better. Do we make Daedalus? Let's look at it. I guess it's worth it if I'm wearing the wings. All right, here we go. This is another boss that I've never fought on tier before, so I really don't know what to expect. I need to lock in. Shit. I do not like this underwater. All right, we're good. All right, you got the laser. Oh, this isn't too bad. Okay, yeah, that looks like the poltergeist attack. Yeah, very similar attacks. Yeah, we got this. We're chilling. Bro, I love this fight so much. And I just gotta say that the Fargos animations and sprites are like the best. The best in all of Terraria. There's a nuke. Yeah, he's done. GG's. Alright, nice. Alright, so we have a little bit of a boss rush ahead of us, so we're gonna talk about the run a little bit. There's a lot of things that just didn't sit well with me the first time I did this run. The first off, I want to say that I really abused the gold in the Stardust enchant way too much the first time I beat Eternity Death Mode. For those of you who don't know what gold enchant does, it pretty much protects you in a golden shell from pretty much every attack, all damage. And the Stardust enchant, which you don't get till way later anyway, but what it does is it freezes time. They both have a cooldown, but when you use them back to back to back, you can pretty much skip a lot of boss phases and boss patterns. And it just didn't sit well with me after watching the VODs the first time I beat this challenge. So I really didn't want to use this unless it was absolutely necessary. So that's one thing you're going to see me not abuse this run. Aquatic Scourge is another completed Calamity boss rework in the Fargo Souls DLC. I'm pretty sure that every boss up to Calclone in Calamity is finished, also including Exomex and Old Duke, but none besides those, for now at least. But this is a very peak fight and very fun to do. The difference between this fight and base Calamity is, this boss is not segmented like in Calamity. The little thing you see in the middle is what you have to attack to separate the body segments to make him get smaller and smaller until he's defeated. So Poseidon was actually a great weapon for this fight because it's pretty much like a single target fight. And of course, with Aquatic Scourge down, we're able to do the tier 2 Acid Rain event. I killed the Craggarl Mire to get the materials needed for Summoner in case we want to do that later on, as well as killing the rest of the enemies needed for the bestiary entries. Dude, the mech reworks in Fargos are so good. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but literally, the vanilla boss reworks in Fargos are the best variants in my opinion. This is actually a fire weapon for this boss. Yeah, this weapon's definitely good for segmented bosses, but single target, not at all. That's where Poseidon shines. Okay, that got a little bit sketchy. I'm actually surprised how many bosses I've been first attempting in this challenge. While I do think recalling in hardcore is acceptable as long as the boss despawns, I do like to beat the boss in my first attempt whenever possible, and we've actually been doing pretty good with it, even though I haven't played this mod in like 4 or 5 months since the time of this recording. And last but not least, Skeletron Prime, the last mech. I think the twins are the best mech in Fargos in my opinion. I just like that fight a lot. I mean, Skeletron Prime's alright, but he doesn't have that many different attacks. This is pretty much what you see right here. The spin attack, where he throws these like red balls at you, is the most advanced attack you'll see out of this boss. But do not let the head touch you. That is literally a spin cycle of death. We get a nice adrenaline there. Yeah, we're doing pretty big damage. Oh shit, I'm using bundle of balloons. I'm tripping. The first thing I do is upgrade my pickaxe because we're going to need to get glorified at some point anyway. As well as make a new accessory called the Apprentice Essence that gives us a huge damage boost. Boom. Okay. We got a shit ton of more damage now. I also refarmed Brimmy to get a new mage weapon called the Seething Discharge. Even though it was just a mini boss, Ogre is next on the list, so we decided to take down our tier 2 Olwen's army. Butterfly wings. Nice. Alright, here we go. Oh my god, why does that sound so nice, so satisfying? Okay, forget what I said about Banished Baron. Now remember, this is a peak boss. This is one of my favorite bosses. The fact that Poseidon is still holding its own is crazy. Alright, got the laser. Alright, got rage, nice. And adrenaline, let's go. Little Ripper. Little Ripper action. Alright, got the swords. Yeah, she's getting annihilated. Yeah, we're fucking her up. Alright, this fight is actually one of the best in all of Terraria. This fight actually has no downfall at all. Peak all the way through. And we got her. Nice. GG's. Alright, is there... This bitch doesn't drop anything good. Alright, chat, this is my first time doing this fight on tier. I'm stressed out. I did watch somebody do the fight on a no-hit on YouTube, so I kind of got an idea of what's going on. So it starts out like this. Brother's throwing the flamethrower attack, pretty simple. Alright, this is where it gets a little tricky. Yeah, I fucked it up already. Jesus. Okay, I got it now. I think. Dashes are pretty simple. Oh yeah, now it's raining the brimstone. Yeah, we're good. We got this. Dude, Poseidon is still doing its thing. This weapon's definitely overstayed its welcome, but it's so good. Oh yeah. This wasn't that bad. Stressful fight, but easy. Alright, here we go. Plantera time. I've been looking really forward to this because we're going to get a lot of mage options after this. So it's going to be good. And this is just a cool ass fight. Nice. Nice Ripper. Let's go. Yeah, this weapon's definitely better for the multi-targets right here. Jeez, thank God she doesn't do a lot of damage to us. Bro, this fight's so cool. Yeah, Seething Discharge is definitely my highest DPS weapon. This is hard to hit sometimes. That's where Poseidon's good because of the homing. Bro, this is so cool, dude. I love this fight. Like the fucking man-eaters in the back. Oh, I forgot about those. Oops. But we got her. Planterra's down. Hell yeah. Okay, I wasn't going to go for Wasp Gun, but since we got it, I mean, like, I got to use it, right? So I make a little farm in the dungeon, so that way I can farm some materials for mage upgrades, as well as killing the enemies needed for the bestiary entries. Oh wait, you know what, y'all? I can actually get some crazy fucking upgrades now. I forgot about that. And then I can make Bionomic Cluster. Look at this, chat. Look at all the shit this does. Yeah, so the cool thing about Bionomic Cluster is most of the annoying debuffs that we've dealt with so far in the game are solved with this accessory. But I also want to make a damage accessory called the Lump of Flesh, so I kill the Dread Nautilus so I can do so. Then I make myself a set of Spectre Armor and Spectre Wings for a good damage increase. Lump of Flesh. Yeah, this is definitely worth using over the boots. There he is. So I have to farm various mobs and events to get the accessories needed to make Bionomic Cluster, because each one of those accessories that gives immunity goes into the recipe. And since I have to fill the bestiary entries anyway, it makes it worth doing regardless. It does a lot of things, chat. I'm gonna take off Amalgamated Brain. We really don't need Amalgamated Brain anymore. The dodge is cool, but I guess I could swap that in when I need to. Oh yeah, let me turn all this shit off. Attack spawn hearts, yes. Auto use healing potions, no. Rainbow slime minion, sure. Stabilize gravity, yes. Instant concoction, no. Alright, I think this is the next boss. Yep. Anahita and Leviathan. Anahita and Leviathan is always a fun boss to do. Probably one of my favorite bosses in Calamity. Just the vibe, the music, everything about it's just good. I like it a lot. All right, we do a lot of damage now, and we are pretty beefy, but I should still be careful because Leviathan can still fuck me up pretty easy, I think. The only boss that's really gonna scare me right now, I think, is Cultist, because I have lost a few runs to Cultist in the past doing Eternity, and yeah, it's a little bit of a scary fight, I'm not gonna lie. All right, nice, we got Adrenaline. Oh yeah, big damage. Fuck yeah. Let's go. FYI, if anybody wants to play Fargos, those blades that Mothron spawns will mess you up bad. I died like that before. It's terrifying. All right, time for my biggest op for literally no reason. Estromorius. The easiest boss in the mod, but my hardest to beat every time. I don't know why. We have some goated movement right now, though. The dash with the Skeletron spin is pretty good. It's crazy that Supreme Deathbringer Fairy is still like such a good accessory all the way through the end game. It's pretty nice. That's what I like about Fargos. Some of the accessories that you get like at the beginning of the game are literally useful all the way to the end. This is also a suboptimal way to do the fight. It's better to stay on the ground and dash right before he gets to you. Going in the air like this is never a good idea. For anybody curious what that was, there's a Squeak toy accessory that has a possibility to negate damage, and it's included in Bionomic Cluster. What was that, bro? That was bullshit. Oh, I forgot the platforms don't work. There was no point in putting a platform there. I'm just gonna have to grapple to reset my flight. Bro, he's getting annihilated, dude. We do so much damage. Lump of Flesh is so strong. It is a good fight too. Definitely a lot easier on Eternity. Mascus' fight is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Love the design though. It looks so nice. If I can still die though, I need to lock in. Does he follow us? I don't think he follows us. I think we can recall if we have to. I can't remember though, but it doesn't matter. He's dead anyway. All right, nice. Let's go. Bro, my trophy collection is getting kind of crazy. All right, next on the list is Pumpkin Moon, which means we have Morning Wood and Pumpkin being our mini bosses. I can also get a couple good mage weapons. I can get a hook upgrade, and I can also get the materials needed later on if I want to go summoner. I also need to get Spooky Wood so that I can make the Gaia armor later on anyway. But while I'm at it, I go ahead and just knock out all the events and all the mini bosses, including Frost Moon and the Martian Invasion. All right, Duke time, let's do this. I really want to get the Wings and Razorblade Typhoon. These are the two main things I want. So I hope we get it. All right, phase 2. Yeah, that's like very similar to the Mutant attack, where he like spawns fish runs in your face. It's like pretty much the same attack. You know, a lot of attacks are incorporated into the Mutant fight. I feel like the whole mod gets you ready for that fight. All right, phase 3, let's go. All right, he's about to start dashing crazy. There he is. Bro is zooming. All right, we got it though. Nice. All right, fuck yeah, we don't have to fight him again. We literally got everything we wanted. Nice. All right, let's do a little DPS check with our new weapons. Razorblade Typhoon. Nice. And I know the bubble gun is going to be a lot, but it's going to be a lot more close up is the only thing with that. So we can interchange them both, which will be good. Oh, there it is. Nice. Yep, got him. Okay. Yeah, we still have a lot of NPCs we need. We need all this extra housing. Let's see where we're at on NPCs. So let's see the slimes we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, who are we missing? I literally made a tutorial about this shit, and my dumbass forgot what it was. Now I remember. Boom. And this is the first time in the run where shit really got sketchy. Playbringer Goliath was railing me. So much so that I even had to make a bigger arena. We're about to blow it up. Yeah, that should be good. Wait. Was that too close to my NPCs? Nah, they're good. That should be perfect. That should be perfect, chat. Why do you have a giant crater? Watch this. Beautiful. All right, here we go. Now I can actually see the projectiles. Dude, trying to see like those green missiles behind jungle walls is very difficult. I was like really struggling with that. So now we have like a good background where I can see what's going on. Oh yeah, this is much better. I just really got to pay attention. Lock in. I can't afford to get hit. Ow. He does so much damage, dude. It's crazy how much damage he does. I just gotta like really time my dashes good right here. I can't tell what's better, Razorblade Typhoon or the Wasp Gun. I think they're about the same. Oh, yeah, we got this. GG's. Nice. Does he not drop a magic weapon? Rogue, summon, range, 4 fucking range weapons. No mage weapon. No mage weapon is crazy. We're gonna make a safe house, chat. Because living on the surface, if I'm finding a boss that can like teleport to me close to my location, then I'm fucked. Being that we got this thing. All right, spawn point set. right, let's put the nurse here. So now I got a safety house underground. See? Watch. Oh, see, I'm about to die. Boom. Safety house. Nurse. All right, next on the list we have Empress of Light. This is another peak boss and another one of my favorite reworks in all versions of Terraria. Whenever I started playing Eternity months ago, this was definitely a big learning curve to figure out the attack patterns for this boss. But once you start to learn all the attack patterns, it's really not too difficult. As long as you have a decent weapon and good movement, you'll be alright. Plus she drops one of the best accessories in the mod with Precision Seal. And we take her down without her doing her circle attack, which is a little bit unfortunate because this is the best attack that she has. This accessory right here is very good. See, it makes my hitbox 1. My hitbox is very little now. How many bosses until Cultist? Betsy Ravager Cultist? Okay. So the time has finally come for Tier 3 Olwen's Army and then Betsy. This boss isn't necessarily the hardest boss, but the debuff that she inflicts, the fire debuff, will kill you very fast. I almost died doing this many times. So you have to really be careful and pay attention. You really need to try to no-hit the best as possible to avoid dying. And she also doesn't despawn, so you only have one shot at doing this. I had to use my magic conch and put a little distance between me and the boss to heal up, but we got her taken down. Okay, so now we have Betsy's heart. We replace our dash with that. So we consume the Sinew dash, and then in Calamity, we have to disable default dash. Oh, I have to enable it. Sinew dash. There we go. So to explain what I just did, Betsy's Heart is an active ability dash that literally gives you immunity frames to dash through anything. So we replace our Ram dash with that dash. Also, Deerclops drops a consumable item called Sinew Dash that gives you a small dash by default. Not the best, but it's still a dash nonetheless. But only have the dash active when you really need it, because when you do have it active, you have a chance to get frozen on hit. But having Betsy's Heart is totally worth trading in my Ram Dash for. It's that good. All right, here we go, guys. Cultist. I would say from Cultist moving forward towards the rest of the mod, we're going to see a lot more crazy boss fights. And this boss fight in particular takes a lot of patience. You can't just fly around aimlessly. You really need to take your time, slow down, and pay attention to where the projectiles are going if you want a chance at surviving. I will say though, the hardest part of this entire fight is right here towards the end, because if you get hit by these projectiles, it will give you the Mark of Death debuff that does a lot of damage to you. So you really got to pay attention and be careful. Okay, now we have a lot of upgrading to do, because now we can make all kinds of shit. Ooh, Mutant's Pack permanently adds an extra accessory slot. Bada bing, bada boom. So now we can make the mask. We're actually not going to be using that. We're going to use a mask instead. I think this will pretty much be the loadout for Moonlord. I'm going to have to look it over because I can't remember. But now I know that we can make Gaia armor. 10% increased damage. Increases max number of minions. Swarmer. Nice. Did we get Kaleidoscope? I think we did. Yep. All right, we got Kaleidoscope. We got Swarmer. All right, we got Entropic Claymore. We could make Plague Tinted SMG. So you're probably wondering, what's the need for the big variety of weapons? Well, let me explain. In Fargos, Moonlord has 5 phases. A phase where you can deal any damage type. He has a solar phase, a nebula phase, a stardust phase, and a vortex phase. So you need a weapon type from each class to deal damage to him during that specific phase. And the reason that the Gaia armor is so good, it's pretty much like the ultimate hybrid armor. It gives you multiple minion slots, and it just gives you a flat damage rate, not class restricted. Astrum Deus falls out on the boss checklist before Moonlord, so we take down 2 pillars to give us enough clearance on one side of the world so that we can take on Astrum Deus. And just like you would expect from Death Mode, the fight is RNG based and just as bad as ever. And he really doesn't drop anything that we specifically need, it's just the next boss on the boss checklist that has to be done. I've said it before, I'll say it again, the only thing more annoying than astral enemies is astral bosses. But hey, at least with astral ore, now we'll have access to a mana upgrade, so that'll be nice. And we can talk about the pillars for a minute. This is not just your run-of-the-mill boring pillars. Each one does very unique things, and you can die very fast doing these. You really need to pay attention and lock in for the pillars. Alright, Vortex is the last pillar, then it's on to Moonlord. I can remember streaming this 100% challenge, and remember just being super pumped for Moonlord. I had died to him a bunch in my previous attempts when I was still learning the mod, but I can remember once I figured out the boss fight, it really wasn't that bad. But your first time fighting Moonlord in Eternity, it is very intimidating. So last minute before the fight, just in case things got a little dicey, I decided to craft the Spectre enchant. What it does is it provides a revive that would be a fatal blow, will let you live with about 100 HP. I knew I was going to be a little bit rusty for the fight because it had been about 4 or 5 months since I had played Fargos, so I just did it for a little extra security. So as you can see, we're cycling between the phases. We start out in Solar, then we go to Vortex. You really have to pay attention when you're doing this fight because there's a lot of things going on at one time. You really have to pay attention to what's what and what's going on with the boss at all times. There's like 2 or 3 separate patterns always going on that you have to be aware of. And what you saw right there, that is Betsy's heart. That's why it's so good. It'll get you out of a jam. Okay, so now we got the sun phase. So you really got to pay attention here and make sure you dodge all these. These will mess you up bad, do a lot of damage. And after coming away with a very stressful win, we're post Moonlord. Let the upgrades begin and let's begin the final phase of the run. Proving Guardians, Dragonfolly, Providence. Okay, that's our next bosses. So we want to make Heart of the Master, but we need Crucible of the Cosmos. Can we make Decimator? We could also make Nuclear Fury. What do I need for Crucible of the Cosmos? So we have to make this very complex fucking station to make the next, all the new gear. Heart of the Master. Grants immunity to a shit ton of stuff. So pretty much we'll have that on the rest of the run. Unfortunately, Guardians don't do anything special for us besides dropping the spawner for Providence. And the shotgun that I'm using, the Decimator, is an awesome weapon for this boss. Instead of making Vortex armor, I decided to keep the Gaia armor just for the hybrid capabilities. I can switch between mage and range or melee, really whatever I want. And if you consider the boosted minion slots that I think I have 6 with this armor, it's just a lot of damage. It's not worth trading in for a class specific set. Ow. God damn, he hits hard. Dragon Foley is actually important for a few reasons. One, obviously, because he drops the rage upgrade that we need, but also the Ephedulin feathers are used in the Silva armor, which is pretty much like the endgame mage and summoner armor that goes into Orc Tesla. Dude, this weapon's so fucking good, dude. Get fucked. There it is. Yeah, we've come a very long way, y'all. Being in hardcore, and we've not died yet. All right, guys, here we go. Time for Providence. This is going to be a turning point in the run because Divine Geos is used to get forces. So after this, and we start to fight the champions, we can start to get forces, and we're going to like really get OP after that. And this fight alone goes really well. I'm still wearing the Gaia armor, and I'm using the Decimator and the Mad Alchemist Flask. But yeah, we damn near no-hitter. I think we get 3 or 4 adrenalines during this entire fight, so she just absolutely gets destroyed. I've done base Calamity a lot, so this fight is pretty easy for me, especially in the hollow. I find that the pincer laser attack is easier than the crystals, and it's just easier to see on the surface hollow as opposed to being in the underworld, and it's kind of like hard to see all the projectiles. But yeah, she pretty much just gets railed the entire time. Oh yeah. Bye. Bye-bye. All right, now we got Elysian Wings. Swap those out. Ooh, Dazzling Dabber Staff. Big fucking upgrade. All right, we can make a lot of shit with this. We can make all the forces. We can make Terratomir, Dark Spark. All right, so we're for our first champion, Champion of the Terra. This is like a super buffed Trojan Squirrel. I actually forgot a lot of the attacks that this boss had because I'd fought it when I was overpowered. I didn't fight any of the champions on tier. And I completely forgot that after the body went down, it had a whole head phase. Bestiary and banner entries complete faster. Okay. Looking back on this footage, I do not remember doing all these the first time I did this playthrough on hardcore. I'm wondering if I even fought the champions or if I just crafted the enchantments. But either way, I wasn't going to do that again because crafting them is kind of like a bitch move, and I think it's more like Chad shit to just straight up fight all the champions to get the enchantments. Because that's what happens. All the champions drop enchantments for each force associated with that champion. So this is the easiest way to get them. If you don't mind fighting the boss, that is. Yeah, that dude's kind of scary, bro. Spectre Enchant made me feel a little bit better about that. Jesus, that dude was scary. All right, who's next? Earth? Okay, this dude's free. And I'll just tell y'all now, Champion of Earth was not free. I don't know why, but I was struggling with this boss. First, I was using Gaia armor, wasn't working out, so I switched to Tarragon. And even after that, I had to recall this boss a lot of times until I could figure it out. Make my arena bigger, I had to do a lot of different things. But yeah, I don't want y'all to think that I just ran through all these bosses just because how the video's edited. If you watch the VODs, I did really struggle with these bosses, some of them, and I had to recall them, and I came pretty close to dying a few times. I'm even about to die right here. I'm pretty much one shot, but sometimes you just have to stay in the fight and just depend on your skill and think that you're going to come away with the win. And we did. So I make my first force of the run, Force of Earth. It allows me to charge up a meter for a super speed attack, but unfortunately not all weapons benefit from this. So it's not useful quite yet. All right, here we go. Champion of Nature. The 6-headed fucking dragon thing. It doesn't deal contact damage, by the way, so you don't have to worry about that. And every attack is like nature based. So I think it's like Crimson and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty peak boss in my opinion. I enjoyed this fight a lot. It was kind of easy though, one of the easier champions in my opinion. Yeah, for this attack you have to start underneath and then go up. Follow the lasers up. All right, here we go. This is the one I've been looking forward to. Champion of Life. It's pretty much like a Lifelight rework variant, but much harder. And this is the one I've been looking forward to because the force made from this boss, I can use to make Force of Life, which is going to give me like some OP wings. We'll go over that in a little while. There we go. Ow. Thank you, Squeaky. Force of Life. Boom. Grants powerful wings. Leave behind powerful flowers while flying. The flowers heal you, spawn a burst of bees, grant the ambrosia buff. So yeah, these are wings, essentially. And very, very, very fast fucking wings. And you can hover float. And you get a shit ton of fucking flight time. Look how fast I'm going. All right, Champion of Death. In my opinion, this is the hardest champion. I really, really struggled with this boss. Some people might disagree, but that's the thing. Bosses are different for every single person. I can execute a flawless fight that could be difficult as hell, and then another one that some people think is just super easy, I might just struggle with. For example, like Astrum Aureus or Astrum Deus. So it's different for everybody, but yeah, I did really struggle with this boss, and this took me quite a while to beat this boss in the challenge. Ow. Get away from me, bro. Fucking grubby hands away from me. Don't touch me, bro. I need to be really careful because I know he does a reflect attack that can one-shot you if he reflects it back at you. So I need to pay attention and figure out like which reflect attack that is. Is he reflecting right now? I don't know. What? Oh, that heals him. Oh shit, I didn't know that. With Champion of the Spirit down, I can combine my Spectre enchant into Force of the Spirit to where I have a revive for the rest of the run. That'll give me a little bit extra security. Wow. Wow, I'm fucking up already. Jesus. Great. Fucking Duke Fisher on 4.0. Yeah, if you ever go watch a VOD, some of these were 4 to 6 hour streams that got pretty late in the night. So sometimes it would start out, I would play really good, but then later on in the night, I would just start to throw. Because you get tired and then you're just not paying attention like you should during boss fights. And you just start making little mistakes that you shouldn't. That's the bad thing about playing hardcore too. You can go on a long run, you're 10 hours into a run, and then you just die because you make a dumb mistake because you want to keep pushing yourself to continue the run. Playing hardcore definitely takes a high level of attention the entire time. All right, Force of Will, 339. What if I put that on? Okay, that makes up for a lot of damage. Which crit do I have? 106. So I have over 100% crit. I got the Sentinels, Poltergeist, and then I got Old Duke, then DOG. All right, chat, I guess we just get right into it. We're still a good bit off on the bestiary. We're missing... missing a good bit. That's what we're missing from the bestiary. We're really not that far off. I really want a ram dash for Ceaseless Void, so I decided to refarm Providence in the Underworld so that I can get the Elysian Aegis. And really nothing too special to see with Ceaseless Void, the same old base Calamity fight that we're always used to, but I do decide to use True Melee with Holy Collider just because I felt like it was the best weapon for this fight. Nice. With no real upgrades available, right after Ceaseless Void, we jump right into Stormweaver, taking her down, and then we go right into Cygnus. I want to rush through these bosses as fast as possible because once I get to Poltergeist, we're in store for a major upgrade, so I'll make quick work of these bosses and make them my little bitch. Alright. And I know what a lot of you were thinking after this boss that we should go with Omega Blue, but I'm not that much of a Chad. I'm going to use Blood Flare just because it's the better armor set for hardcore, but Omega Blue is definitely devious for hardcore to use. And personally, I just don't think that I'm good enough to use Omega Blue and survive. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't play like a goddamn tank. I definitely play more glass cannon and rely on movement, but I think Omega Blue is just stupid to use for hardcore. Alright, very nice. What should he give me? Ecto Hard. Okay, that's full. Okay, he dropped Terrorblade. Can I make the full set? Dude, I can. GG's. Okay, I don't need Bloodstone anymore. Good shit. After making a trusty set of Blood Flare armor and one of my favorite weapons in the game, Death's Ascension, I decided to do some terraforming while I get ready for Old Duke. So let's go ahead and go blow some shit up, shall we? The thing is, I don't want to destroy all this shit right now because I still need to complete the bestiary on some shit. So I don't want to destroy my whole world yet. We're not going to destroy everything, but we are going to take a lot of shit out. I'm going to clear a little bit of land. All right, we got to fight Mauler. Who is this? That's Nuclear Terror, right? Yeah. Are y'all worried for me about Old Duke? The reworked Old Duke? I think we got this. I think we're chilling. So now we are officially in uncharted territory. I have never fought this boss in the DLC. I've never seen this version of Old Duke. And as you can see, Death's Ascension is just absolutely destroying him. Also, if you're wondering why I'm pausing between attacks, that's to allow my Force of Earth meter to charge up to increase my attack speed tremendously. Nothing is more aggravating than executing every move perfectly, and the second that your adrenaline meter fills up, you take a hit. But regardless, he's just getting absolutely destroyed. I'd say fun, I'd rate this boss an 8. Difficulty, I'd probably say a 5 in the DLC. It's not the hardest, you just have to time your dashes. You already know what time it is. Ain't no upgrades available between now and the next boss. So it's doggy time. Let's do it. Not sure if this was a super anticipated fight for a lot of people, but unfortunately if it was, Force of Life makes me so fast that dog can't even catch me. I mean literally, my hover speed is faster than dog moves. There were a few small scares, me just playing stupid, but for the most part, we were fine. And since our hitbox is literally only one tile because we have Precision Seal built into Heart of the Master, it makes the laser wall kind of irrelevant. And for anybody who thinks this is a dishonorable way to fight dog, come on, give me a break. It's hardcore. That's going to be a GG's, y'all. Easy. Okay, we'll put on Nebulous Core. Now we have 2 revives, and we got the Cosmic Plushie chat. Want to validate the run? Hardcore run is validated. We can make Endo Hydra staff. I think we're going to switch to Summoner. We're going to switch to Summoner, chat. So per usual, I refarm all the events post-dog so I can get all the materials needed to make Ascended Spirit Essence. The safest way to do this is to manipulate all the other spawns to where they can only spawn on the tile in front of you. Can I make it? Oh, I can. Nice. Do I have Kaleidoscope? I do. All right, can I make Nucleogenesis? All right, what do I need for the essence? You get 18% damage, 10% whip range, and 1 summon. This you get 12% damage, regen, minion knockback, and 2 minions. We'll use Dark Sun Ring. We're gonna need the essence anyway. We'll just save that for later. We can make Silva. Now we will have 3 revives now, chat. We're gonna keep on Heart of the Master. Take off Dark Sun Ring. We need to go in the Abyss, so we need to make Abyssal Diving Suit. So I really came down here to go to the level 2 and 3 layers to get the materials needed for the sponge. But I wanted to come to level 4 and complete all the entries for the bestiary. Ones that we didn't do after Poltergeist. I wanted to wait until we were a little bit more overpowered post-dog. Minus Primordial Worm, obviously. That'll be a little bit later on. Alright guys, here we go. For anybody who doesn't know who this boss is, it's Eridanus, champion of the Cosmos. This is the last champion and definitely the most deadly. Beating Eridanus is how we make Force of the Cosmos, which gives us the time stop ability. So according to the boss checklist, Eridanus is supposed to be fought after Dog. In my opinion, you're a little bit overpowered after Dog. A more balanced place to fight this boss would probably be after Poltergeist. But being that this is hardcore, bro, I'm not trying to do like super Chad shit. I'm just trying to stay within the rules of the challenge and not die. Really? Yeah, I don't know if there's an indicator to know where the laser is going to come after the time stop, but we get hit there unfortunately. Oh. And this is a prime example of what I was talking about earlier, how busted Gold Enchant can be, especially using Summoner. So before I do any upgrades or move forward, I refight Eridanus and beat him straight up without using Gold Enchant. Alright. All my NPCs are fucking dead. Except the dog, bro. The dog made it. All the dogs, all the pets, and slime survived. So now, we make Force of Cosmos. And this will be, we'll have that here. Yeah, we're chilling now. This is all we have left. 32 plus 5, 38 entries. Most of these are bosses we're missing. Like pretty much the Exomex pick up like 5 or 6, like 5. I know I need Scowl. I need the Brimstone NPC. I need Mutant NPC, Mutant, Abomination, which I'm gonna unlock a lot of those just by beating bosses. We're pretty much just like down to, I think this is Santa. All right, so here we go. Here's Yarn. Dude, look, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know if I'm tweaking. But honestly, in my opinion, Death Mode Yarn is harder than Infernum Yarn. I don't know what it is. The Infernum fight just feels very choreographed. The dashes, everything just feels easy to me. Death Mode is just like kind of all over the place. You got these rogue fireballs. Like you don't know what's going to happen sometimes. And I can honestly say that about a lot of bosses in Death Mode. Like you can position yourself the best way possible and you'll still just get hit by rogue random projectiles in there that you didn't see. Yeah, that's time stop right there. It's a pretty busted mechanic that I don't really like to use a whole lot. And you can see why. You gotta be careful with this shit. This shit'll kill you. The Orc Ore, you can't touch it directly. It'll fuck you up. Well, we're about to upgrade to Orc Armor. Yeah, see, that shit fucks you up. God damn it. I'm about to upgrade my armor. And then we're going to do Abomination. And then we make Auric Tesla. Boom, okay. Big upgrade. We're about to start blowing shit up, chat. Here we go. See how much this takes out. I'm not doing another one close to the base. That's it. That's it. That's the last bomb. I'm not bombing any closer to the house. That's it. That's too close. They're gone. They got so lucky. That's actually perfect placement, dude. Here we go. Fuck it. If we die, we die. It is what it is. All right, guys, here we go. Abomination. Time for the most terrifying fight so far in the entire run. Even on Eternity mode, this dude's a beast, in my opinion. All the bosses that are like NPC-sized characters, Deviant, Abomination, Mutant, even the Cryogen rework, are definitely some of the most terrifying bosses. I think adding the Mauler attack to the Abomination was also a nice touch. You know, like the mini-boss from Tier 3 Acid Rain? I like that. It's always like the easiest attacks that my brain does not work, and I just get damaged by everything. And I just burned a revive right there. And I wasn't going to use Time Stop again for the maze attack right here, but being that we just burned a revive and we're like 0 health, I decided to use it. Those are definitely enchants that I only use sparingly when I'm at risk of dying. Besides that, I don't just spam them. The last time I did this challenge, I just spammed them over and over again because it was easy, and that's definitely something I wanted to avoid, but I still will use them if I absolutely have to. All right, nice. Ooh, and we got Abominable Wand. This gives us another revive. With this, we'll have 4 revives. These are all the souls in the game, okay? These are like end-game, very, very powerful fucking things. This is literally going to give us a dash. This is going to replace our dash. See, for these souls, yeah, for these souls, I have to beat Scowl and Exomex. I can't make these at the top. So I can't make these 4 yet. Soul of Terraria, Soul of the Universe. I can't make those, but I can make all the rest of them. Frozen Shield, Amulet, Rampart. So we got Colossal Soul. This is a huge buff, and we're going to make Sniper Soul. I think we're going to go ranged. I think we're going to use Chicken Cannon. Boom. Does a lot of things, and it's already lucky. All right, here we go, guys. The most peak rework in the entire playthrough, Exomex. I decided to go range with Chicken Cannon just because the AoE from the rockets using Chicken Cannon would be an all-around just solid weapon to use, and it is. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, at some point in hard mode, we went full lucky and never looked back because you want to be as close to 100% crit as possible. And then on top of that, once you beat Eridanus, he drops a accessory called the Cosmic Core that allows your crits to crit. And you can do like 4 times the crit damage. It's pretty OP. And that's what we're using right now. This fucking laser attack is so aggravating, it literally kills every NPC on the map. All right, here we go. We just got the twins left. And they're the most aggravating in this rework, to be honest. Their dashes are just frustrating. And like stuff like that. I don't even know how to avoid those attacks. That's crazy. So we go straight into Scowl because there's really no upgrades between Exomex and Scowl. Because for Miracle Matter, I need the Exoprisms and Ashes of Annihilation to make all the endgame souls to prepare for our fight for Mutant. The only thing I do is take off Cosmic Core and put on Draydon's Heart, just for a little extra security. And you can see my health right now. I've already burned a revive, and I was playing like ass. So I'm glad that I put on Draydon's Heart because we actually needed it. It's crazy that I almost died during this fight. Because I had just come off of a hardcore Infernum win, so I was feeling very confident, and I was like, yeah, we don't need to practice this boss. We have it. It's just death mode. Yeah, I was wrong. We literally almost died. But the good news is that Eternity Death Mode isn't that balanced yet. It's still a work in progress, and we're pretty overpowered at this point. I know I can also make Brand of the Brimstone Witch, because that'll free up an accessory slot. Brand of the Brimstone Witch. What? Yeah, this does a lot of shit. Grants immunity to all Eternity Mode debuffs. Knockback biome debuffs. Increases wing time by 200. Movement speed by 20. Max life by 100%. Yeah, it's literally fucking insane. Soul Terraria. Yeah, we could make this one. It does a lot of things, chat. Okay, so let's see. I think we can make the souls now. Let's see what we can make. All right, we can make Vagabond, Conjurus, Archwizard, Soul of the Universe. Boom. Soul Dimensions. Okay. Okay, we got everything. We are so close. We only have a few more entries. I have my spreadsheet here. Are we deep enough? Bro, this is so ass. What? Oh, probably because I'm out of the abyss. That's gotta be why. Yeah, it's because I'm out of the abyss. Oh, that's almost all of them. Chat, we are so close to finishing this challenge. We have like a few mobs left. So now we'll sit here for a minute. Let me kill some mobs. Okay, so dude, I'm just missing Santa and Mutant. There he is. Got him. Got Santa. Okay, now we're just missing Mutant. We're missing the NPC and the boss. Throwing an Abomination doll in lava in front of Mutant enrages him, and this is how the boss spawns in. Here we are though, moment of truth, Mutant, the final boss. We have every single upgrade available to us, and I figure why not go back to melee? And I don't know what it is, but I can practice this boss 50 times in a softcore world and beat him every time. But in the hardcore run, I always get nervous and really struggle in these boss fights, especially when it counts the most. I have been known to lock in though and do well, but I've been known to flub a lot of fights too and lose a lot of runs. And right here, I'm playing very badly. Perfect example. Right there, I burn another revive. Right now, I only have 3. And I do have a bitch play in my back pocket if I need to. I have the summoner headpiece for the orc armor, which I can put on if I need another revive. Like if I'm absolutely about to die. And I just want to say, they did such a good job with this rework. The ways they incorporated the Calamity bosses into the Mutant fight is just peak. I mean, this is just absolute cinema of a fight. This ain't good. I'm about to die. All right, here we go. We got the PBG attack. This one's easy. All right, let me lock in. Oh yeah, we got this. Photon Ripper is gonna destroy him, dude. Okay. God damn it. Okay. I was on my last revive. I need to make Leash of Cthulhu. Y'all ready for cinema? All right, here we go. Boss rush time. Leash of Cthulhu is going to destroy everything. I already know it. And the Duke Fishron summons is just absolutely insane. All right, here we go. Moonlord. King Slime to Moonlord is kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. Easy. Why is she enraged? I don't think there's any way to not do this with Enraged Providence. I remember last time she was enraged too. I don't think there's like a way around it because I think it's automatically going to be daytime. There we go, Poltergeist. Yeah, it literally just fucking destroys them. Easy. Alright, Duke. Love this rework, by the way. Such a cool boss. Alright, here we go, Dog. I'm pretty sure when he leaves, the Sentinels come in. Yeah, here we go, Stormweaver. God, that's making me drop frames. That's crazy. Alright, Ceaseless done. Iridanos. Come on, Dragon Pulley, really? Pretty cool how they did that, though. I like that. A-bomb. Love this fight. They did a good job with the boss rush too. I really like this. Shit's cool as hell. Bruh, this is cinema, dude. This is such a good rework. Looks so nice. There we go. Okay, can they die already? Jesus. What the hell's going on? Alright, nice. Alright. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he gets destroyed right here. Yep, he's dead already. Boom, we got it, chat. We got it. What do I need for Soul of Eternity? You know, all those. Boom. Okay. Now we're a god. With the Soul of Eternity crafted, there's really not a whole lot left for us to do except buy the Ancient Seal from Mutant to end this run. We're about to fight all the bosses all at once. Modded and vanilla. We're going to fight every boss at the same time. Let's do it. Well, I feel that was a fitting way to end the run. Go out with a bang. I appreciate everybody watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We finished everything we wanted to finish. We beat all 62 bosses, we crafted the Soul of Eternity, and we completed the bestiary. If you want to support the channel, please like the video, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all next time. Later.